Ladies and gentlemen, imagine a quiet road stretching into the horizon, untouched by the chaos of crowds. A lone figure walks steadily forward, not hurried, not lost, but deliberate in her steps. This is not a story of loneliness, but of profound connection. A woman who walks alone does not wander, she discovers. To walk alone is to embrace the power of solitude. It is not a retreat, but an encounter with the self. In a world that constantly demands validation and distraction, walking alone is a rebellion of the spirit. It is choosing to stand still in the storm, not as an act of defiance, but as an act of peace. Such solitude isn't empty, it is vast, filled with the echoes of her thoughts, dreams, and the whispers of something greater. Society for so long has told her to walk alongside, to follow, to lead, but never to simply be. A woman who walks alone rewrites that narrative. She does not seek permission, nor does she offer explanations. Her journey is hers alone, and in that she is free. The world may look upon her with curiosity, sometimes even judgment, but she understands the path to truth often requires stepping away from the paths others have paved. There is wisdom in the stillness of her steps. She learns from the silence, from the rhythm of her heartbeat syncing with the earth beneath her feet. Alone, she can hear the voice within, the voice drowned out by the world's noise. It is in solitude that clarity arises, and with it strength, a strength not born of stubbornness, but of understanding. As she walks, she realizes she is not truly alone. The sky stretches infinitely above her, the wind whispers its secrets, and the earth hums beneath her steps. She becomes part of the flow, a thread in the infinite fabric of existence. There is no boundary between her and the universe. She is both the walker and the path. To walk alone is not to reject the world, but to embrace it fully. For a woman who walks alone knows this truth: she carries the universe within her, and each step is an act of creation. She is not lost, she is home. Solitude is often misunderstood. For many it conjures images of loneliness, of emptiness, of being adrift in a vast and uncaring world. Yet for those who truly embrace it, solitude is not a void, but a vast, fertile space. It is a sanctuary where the noise of the world fades and the soul begins to speak. For a woman who walks alone, solitude is not a curse. It is her greatest strength. To walk alone is to choose yourself. Again and again, in a world that tries to tell you that your worth is measured by the company you keep. It is an act of courage to step away from the expectations of others, to resist the pull of conformity, and to walk a path that is uniquely yours. This choice requires a strength that does not come from the outside, but from within, a strength that is forged in silence, introspection, and resilience. In solitude, a woman learns to become her own anchor. She discovers that she does not need the constant validation of others to feel whole. She does not fear being alone with her thoughts, because she has learned to sit with them, to explore them, to understand them. Through this process, she becomes acquainted with her deepest fears, her wildest dreams, and the quiet whispers of her intuition. This strength is not the kind that shouts or demands attention. It is a quiet, steady presence, like the roots of a great tree that grow deeper with each passing year. It is the kind of strength that allows her to face the storms of life without losing her balance, to stand firm even when the world tries to shake her. The beauty of solitude lies in its ability to strip away all the noise and distractions that cloud our perception. It offers clarity, a chance to see ourselves as we truly are, without the filters of society, relationships, or expectations. In this clear space, a woman who walks alone discovers her true essence. She learns to trust herself, to rely on her own wisdom, and to draw from her inner well of strength. Walking alone also teaches her the value of being present. Without the chatter of others or the distractions of the world, she can tune into the rhythm of her own life. She notices the small things, the way the sunlight filters through the trees, the sound of her footsteps on the ground, the gentle caress of the wind on her skin. These moments, seemingly insignificant, become profound reminders of her connection to the world around her. This solitude, this strength, is not about rejecting others or turning away from relationships. It is about understanding that she is whole on her own. It is about knowing that her worth is not tied to anyone else, that she does not need to be completed by another person. She walks alone not because she is afraid of connection, but because she values herself enough to take the journey inward. And so each step she takes becomes a declaration of her independence, her courage, and her resilience. She does not walk away from the world, she walks towards herself. In her solitude, she finds strength not the kind that hardens or isolates, but the kind that softens and empowers. For a woman who walks alone understands this truth. To embrace solitude is to embrace the infinite potential within. It is to stand in your own light and know that you are enough. From the moment she takes her first step, a woman who walks alone challenges the norms that society has laid out for her. Society, with all its unspoken rules and rigid expectations, prefers conformity over individuality, compliance over courage. For generations, women have been told how they should walk, where they should go, and whom they should accompany. But the woman who walks alone refuses to be confined by these invisible chains. Her stride is not just a physical act, it is a powerful statement, a rebellion against a world that seeks to define her. And to defy societal expectations is to choose authenticity over acceptance. It is to reject the notion that a woman's worth is tied to her relationships, her roles, or her ability to conform to predefined molds. Society often tells women they must be accompanied to be seen as respectable, that walking alone signifies vulnerability or worse, failure. Yet she knows that these are illusions designed to keep her in a place of dependence. Her choice to walk alone is not a rejection of others, but an embrace of her autonomy. This act of defiance requires immense courage. For centuries, the paths women have been allowed to walk were chosen for them by family, by culture, by tradition. These paths were often narrow and predictable, lined with expectations to please, to nurture, to follow. The woman who walks alone steps off these prescribed routes and creates her own trail. She ventures into unknown territory, and in doing so she becomes a pioneer not just for herself, but for those who will follow in her footsteps. Her journey is not without challenges. The world, unaccustomed to seeing a woman unaccompanied and unapologetic, may try to stop her. It may call her names, question her motives, or attempt to shame her into compliance. But she walks on undeterred. She understands that these reactions are not about her, but about the discomfort she causes by refusing to fit into a box. Her defiance exposes the fragility of the norms that seek to limit her, and this exposure is a threat to those who benefit from maintaining the status quo. Walking alone also means embracing a certain level of solitude that society often discourages for women. There is a pervasive belief that a woman's identity is only fully realized in relation to others as a daughter, a partner, a mother. But the woman who walks alone asserts that her identity is hers to define. She is not merely a reflection of the roles she plays, but a whole, independent being with dreams, desires, and a destiny uniquely her own. Defying societal expectations is not just about resisting, it is about redefining. The woman who walks alone reclaims her narrative. She decides what strength looks like, what success feels like, and what happiness means. She understands that the expectations placed upon her are not universal truths, but constructs that can be questioned and dismantled. She steps away from the narrow definitions of femininity, power, and success that have been handed down to her, and she creates space for something new. Her defiance is not loud or confrontational, it is a quiet, persistent resistance. Each step she takes challenges the notion that she needs to explain herself, that she owes the world an account of her choices. She walks alone because she knows that her worth is inherent, not contingent on anyone's approval. Her journey is not about proving anyone wrong, but about proving to herself that she is enough. In walking alone, she becomes a mirror for others. Her independence forces those around her to question their own assumptions, their own fears. She inspires other women to step away from the expectations that do not serve them, to carve out their own paths, and to walk them with confidence. The woman who walks alone is not just a rebel, she is a visionary. She sees a world where women are not bound by societal expectations, where they are free to walk alone, together, or however they choose. And in defying the norms, she brings this vision closer to reality with every step. The path of a woman who walks alone is not just a physical journey, it is a profound exploration of the soul. With every step she takes, she finds herself moving closer to a deeper understanding of the world and her place within it. Wisdom is not something she seeks at the journey's end. It is something she uncovers along the way. Each twist and turn, each moment of solitude, each challenge she overcomes becomes a teacher, guiding her toward clarity and self-awareness. In a world obsessed with destinations, walking alone teaches her to value the journey itself. She learns that wisdom does not come from rushing to the next milestone, but from being present in every moment. The rhythm of her steps mirrors the rhythm of life itself, a balance of effort and ease, of moving forward while remaining grounded. As she walks, she begins to notice the details that others might overlook: the way the sunlight dances through the trees, the sound of leaves crunching beneath her feet, the gentle caress of the wind against her skin. These moments, though seemingly small, are profound reminders of life's beauty and interconnectedness. Walking alone forces her to confront the silence, both around her and within her. It is in this silence that she begins to hear the whispers of her intuition, the inner voice that is so often drowned out by the noise of the world. Solitude strips away the distractions and demands of daily life, allowing her to tune in to her thoughts, feelings, and desires. She begins to recognize patterns in her thinking, to question old beliefs, and to embrace new perspectives. In this space of introspection, she discovers the wisdom that has always been within her, waiting to be unearthed. The journey also teaches her resilience. Walking alone is not always easy. There are moments of doubt, of fatigue, of fear. But each obstacle she encounters becomes an opportunity to grow. She learns to trust herself, to rely on her inner strength, and to face challenges with courage and grace. These lessons cannot be taught in a classroom or found in a book. They are earned through experience, through the willingness to keep moving forward, even when the path is uncertain. As she walks, she comes to understand that wisdom is not about having all the answers, but about being open to the questions. The journey teaches her to embrace uncertainty, to find peace in not knowing what lies ahead. She learns to let go of the need for control and to trust in the process. This surrender is not a sign of weakness, but of profound strength. It is the realization that life's greatest lessons often come from the unexpected. The wisdom she gains is not just personal. It is universal. Walking alone connects her to something larger than herself. She begins to see the world not as a series of disconnected events, but as a web of relationships, where every action, every choice, every step has meaning. She understands that her journey is both uniquely her own and deeply intertwined with the journeys of others. This awareness fosters a sense of humility and gratitude, a recognition that she is both a small part of the universe and a vital part of its story. In finding wisdom in the journey, she also learns to appreciate the beauty of imperfection. The path is rarely smooth or straight. It is marked by detours, setbacks, and moments of doubt. Yet she comes to see these challenges not as barriers, but as opportunities for growth. Each misstep, each wrong turn, becomes a lesson in resilience and adaptability. She learns to embrace the messiness of life, to find beauty in the imperfections, and to celebrate the progress she has made, no matter how small. Ultimately, the journey becomes a mirror, reflecting back to her who she truly is. It reveals her strengths, her vulnerabilities, her passions, and her purpose. She comes to see herself not as a finished product, but as a work in progress, constantly evolving and growing. This realization is the essence of wisdom, to understand that life is not about reaching a final destination, but about becoming, moment by moment, the truest version of herself. And so, with every step, she walks not just toward the horizon, but toward the woman she is meant to be. The journey itself is the teacher, the guide, the companion. It is in the act of walking, of moving forward with intention and openness, that she finds the wisdom she seeks. For the woman who walks alone, the path is not just a means to an end, it is the end, the beginning, and everything in between. As a woman walks alone, she begins to sense a profound connection with the world around her. In the stillness of her solitude, the separation between herself and her surroundings starts to dissolve. She is no longer just a single individual walking through a landscape. She becomes part of the landscape itself. The boundaries that once defined her seem to blur, and she realizes that she is not apart from the universe, but intricately woven into its fabric. The universe speaks in subtle ways, and walking alone allows her to hear it. The rustle of leaves in the wind, the rhythmic lapping of waves, the distant call of a bird, all of these become a language she understands on an instinctual level. These sounds are not random, they are invitations to be present, to recognize that she is not merely an observer of nature, but a participant in its endless dance. The same energy that causes the stars to shine and the tides to turn flows through her. Every step she takes becomes a conversation with the earth. Her feet press against the ground, and the ground responds with steady support, as if to remind her that she is always held. The air she breathes in fills her lungs with life, and the exhale becomes her offering back to the world. This exchange is so natural, so effortless, that it often goes unnoticed. But as she walks alone, she becomes acutely aware of it. She feels the pulse of the universe within her own heartbeat, the rise and fall of her chest echoing the rhythms of the cosmos. Walking under the open sky, she begins to notice how the heavens mirror her inner landscape. The vastness above her is both humbling and empowering. On clear nights, she sees the stars and feels a sense of timelessness, as if she is connected not just to this moment, but to every moment that has ever been. The constellations, seemingly distant and eternal, remind her that she is part of a story far greater than herself. The same stardust that formed the galaxies flows in her veins, linking her to the origins of creation. The cycles of the natural world become her guide. The sunrise teaches her about new beginnings, the sunset about letting go. The changing seasons mirror the shifts within her times of growth, of rest, of transformation. She sees herself in the budding flowers of spring, in the vibrant energy of summer, in the quiet decay of autumn, and in the stillness of winter. These patterns remind her that she, too, is a part of this endless cycle of renewal and change. Even the smallest details hold profound meaning. She notices how the dew clings to the grass in the morning, how the light filters through the canopy of trees, how the breeze seems to carry whispers of something ancient and wise. These moments are not just beautiful, they are sacred. They remind her that the universe is alive, vibrant, and conscious, and that she is a vital thread in its tapestry. As she walks, she begins to understand that everything is interconnected. The boundaries she once thought were fixed between herself and others, between the earth and the sky, between the earth and the sky, between the physical and the spiritual, are illusions. The streams she crosses, the mountains she climbs, the winds that guide her, all are part of the same energy that flows through her. She feels a deep kinship with the world, a sense of belonging that is not tied to a specific place but to the entirety of existence. This connection to the universe is not just intellectual, it is deeply felt. It is in the way her body moves with the rhythms of the earth, in the way her breath syncs with the wind, in the way her heart swells with gratitude for the beauty that surrounds her. It is an intimate, unspoken bond that transcends words, and knowing that she is both infinitely small and immeasurably significant. As she continues her solitary journey, she becomes attuned to the wisdom of the universe. She feels its guidance in the pull of her intuition, in the synchronicities that appear when she least expects them, in the gentle nudges that encourage her to keep moving forward. The universe does not demand anything from her, it simply invites her to be, to walk, to breathe, to exist in harmony with all that is. A woman who walks alone is not just navigating physical paths, she is charting a course through the depths of her own existence. Her solitude is her strength, her defiance of expectations is her freedom, her journey is her teacher, and her connection to the universe is her truth. Each step she takes is an affirmation of her independence, her courage, and her boundless potential. In walking alone, she demonstrates that the path to self-discovery and fulfillment is not about following others, but about listening to the whispers of her own soul. Her journey inspires not just herself, but all who witness her resolve, showing that it is possible to break free from limitations and walk a path of authenticity, purpose, and profound connection. For this woman, the act of walking alone is not an escape, but an embrace, a declaration that she belongs to herself and to the universe, and that every step forward is an act of creation, strength, and love.